the News Channel 5 network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here with you on a Tuesday, and we have a good show on tap for you. Your chance to ask questions about legal issues with relating to aging and, your parents, maybe yourself, assisted living facilities, Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare especially this morning, and who better to answer those questions for us than a regular guest. He's been coming on now for years, which is awesome. And he's the foremost expert, I think, on elder care law in the entire country, and that is Tim Takacs. We're lucky we have him here in Middle Tennessee.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Thank you.
I couldn't have said that when I first got to know you because I wasn't so familiar with elder law and all this. Now that I've been around, I've investigated, I have family and friends around the country who I've given advice that you've given me. You've been cutting edge from the beginning, my friend.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Thank you.
And anyone he hires is really good. And he doesn't always bring a guest. Sometimes it's me and him. Sometimes it's me and Barbara McGinnis, his partner.
Right, and sometimes Barbara here.
And Barbara solo.
And now, as you know, we have Chris Johnson.
Yeah, Chris, who's terrific.
Yes, does a lot of veterans work for us.
Yeah.
And soon to be partner, soon to be, soon when I'm phasing out, Chris will be here, and starting the next generation of Takacs McGinnis elder care law.
You're laying the groundwork, and Josh Hunter is in that mix.
Josh Hunter is here, and Josh joined us last year. He is our public benefit specialist. Actually, he really does the Medicare part.
Okay.
Medicare, and also helps Josh with the VA.
That's awesome. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you on.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's great. Well, all right, and this is a good time to have him come on.
Yes, it is.
All right,
because
it is. It's a special time of the year. We're coming up on the annual enrollment period. We just want to make sure everybody knows what that is, what they need to do, how that applies to them.
Has anything changed? Let's go ahead and lay that out for them, and maybe someone will have questions. And we can go there with Medicare, of course, this morning, but also other general questions about elder law. Okay, this happens every year, okay? And remind folks what it is that, especially folks maybe that haven't been through it before, that were new to it or about to enter this, what this is all about, the enrollment period.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, jump into it and not know what's happening, for people who are new to Medicare this year. But we're talking about the annual enrollment period. There's a bunch of enrollment periods with Medicare. But this one in particular is October 15th through December 7th. And people need to check on their prescription drug coverage and their Medicare Advantage plans to make sure it's the best fit for them going into the next year. So we'll be talking about coverage for 2020.
Right. Now, if they're happy with what they have, let's just say they're sitting there saying, well, I hear what Josh is saying, but I'm happy, so do they have to do anything?
They don't technically have to, but in my opinion, if you're not, you're giving up some of your rights.
So you're saying there's a possibility, no matter how much you might like it, unless it's exactly a perfect fit, and rarely is it a perfect fit for your needs, there may be changes that have happened where there may be something that's better suited to you.
For sure, and let's say even if it was a perfect fit for you in 2019, the plans are allowed to change anything they want going into the next year. And if you don't take that opportunity to look into it and January gets here,
would those plans not, if you're on one, do those plans not reach out to you and let you know they're making changes? Or if you're on that plan, or do you have to check it on your own come re-enrollment?
No, they do send you something, but most people don't want to look through these giant packets and look up their meds and go through it that way. It's easier to do it through the online system and with help from somebody who knows how to do it.
Tim, as long as you've been at this, how often have you seen people that have gone through, like he suggests, and doing the re-enrollment anyway, and found that there's a better plan out there?
Well, we tracked it last year.
Okay.
Believe it or not. We says, okay, Josh joined us in 2018. Let's see how Josh did over the. So what we found is that we saved our clients $100,000 last year.
Holy cow.
Yes, holy cow.
Meaning finding better deals where they're closer aligned with what their needs are, and thus more coverage that saves them money.
They're in a better plan, and they're saving money. How do you beat that?
No,
you can't beat that.
That's right. And that's in a 7-week period, just from adjusting, making sure you have the best plan for you.
So it ultimately means, and I'm still learning about this, that if you find a better plan, then that's going to provide them with what, lower premiums, where they have to do any kind of copay, or where's the savings come from?
Yeah, it could be. There's a couple different price points when we're talking about these prescription drug plans. So you have your premium, of course, you pay every month.
Gotcha.
It could be a lower deductible. It could be a different tier on your medications, which changes what you pay at the pharmacy. That's usually where we see the big savings in the end.
In the drug cost?
Right, actually what you end up paying at the pharmacy. When people save the big money, that's usually where it is. But I mean, if you change your premium from $30 to $17, that's a big savings too. And if it's cheaper on your meds, then great.
Okay, and so it's the meds, obviously, is where there can be a big savings, but also on other coverages as well. I mean, in terms of doctor's visits and things like this,
for sure,
or for treatment, not just meds of other different kinds of conditions.
Right. If we're talking about the Medicare Advantage people in particular, because that's when all of your coverage comes from one company, and if you change that company, you could be changing everything from top to bottom in terms of who you see, what specialists you're working with. Yes, your co-pays on individual visits and stuff.
Now, these companies can come and go. How many are there really to choose from?
Gosh, there are quite a few. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
And does it vary from
more than a dozen, right?
More than a dozen?
Yeah.
And is it vary from state to state, or?
It does, particularly with the Advantage plans. They're very regional.
Oh, that's what I thought.
So those change quite a bit. But when we're talking about your Part D with original Medicare, that's nationwide coverage. So.
All right. So you have an expert like Josh on board on this. Yeah. How does it work for your clients? I mean, if is it a family member of an elderly couple, or could it be the folks who are on Medicare coming to you and saying we need help? I mean, how does that work? How do you help them through your firm?
Well, what we do is that we have a number of sort of tiers of how we represent people. So if you're doing a basic estate planning, so you come in, I was teasing you that that you're Medicare now, but you're not.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Too long from now.
But for our younger clients who are not on Medicare.
By the way, what age is it you get?
65.
65.
65. Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So if you're just coming to us and you're just basically doing a basic estate plan, you're not really going to be a Medicare client. Now, we may offer that in the future, but right now we have, for our basic estate plans, no.
Okay.
But for any other representation that we have what we call a life care plan, let's say, or for our older clients who have like maybe chronic illnesses, and we're guiding them through the long-term care process. Those automatically, that's part of our services to them, is to review their Medicare every year.
Sure.
So it's probably more than half of our clients right now, that are getting Joshua's services.
Okay. All right, and so you'll sit down with them, go over it. You can then just look at what's the plan you're on right now.
That's right.
Let's review it. How you're happy with it? And I think a lot of them might say, well, I think I'm happy with it.
Right.
And then you say, well, let's see what else is out there.
Right, that's what we do. We sit down and compare, and I tell everybody, the worst case scenario is you stick on the exact same plan you had.
Right.
That's great. I mean, nothing to lose, no reason not to check. It can be, 15, 20-minute ordeal to just check your drug plan, review your options, and potentially save hundreds or more.
Yeah.
And see, our thing about this is, and as you know, is I've had a Medicare specialist on my staff since 1998. I was probably one of the first, if not the first, because I'm going, all my clients are on Medicare.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, so why not? If you're going to do elder care law, I mean, not everybody is on VA, not everybody's on Medicaid, not everybody. But if you're 65 and older, you're in this country, you are going to be on Medicare.
Yes, right.
So why not do this? And we all know Medicare is getting more complicated all the time. And so what we see is that a lot of our clients, they're sitting right here in the middle, and all this stuff is going on around them, and all this chaos, and they're going, as long as no one's hurt me yet, I'll stay where I am. And that's the way I think Medicare is.
Yeah, right. I can understand that mindset.
Because if you think it's like, okay, if I step one step out of this way, I'm going to be in the chaos. As long as I'm not being hurt by my current plan, or I don't think I'm being hurt, I'm going to stay where I am.
You understand why people are like that. That makes sense.
Exactly. Okay. And that's why we say is that, look, our job as doing this is
keep you out of chaos.
Yeah, is to keep you out of chaos. We're going to reach out to you with a Medicare specialist because you're our client. And we want you to take it. We want you to have this service. Obviously, they're paying for it.
Sure.
But it's a valuable service. We want people to know that, Josh says, you're in the best plan right now. He's gone through all the thing, and we'll talk about that in a moment about how do you get started on this, what do you need to do. But Josh does the review, and he says, okay, you're in the right plan. Great. Okay, next year we're going to look at it again. You know, and then our clients leave and their families leave and go, yeah, you know, we did the best we could. You know, we feel like we're in the right plan. You know, if anything changes,
at least
you know,
that gives you peace of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you look.
And keep in mind, the changes can come along on both sides. The changes can come within the plans, or
and the individual.
Your client's condition could change. Their health may change.
It always does.
Of course it does. You're
Exactly.
at that
We
age.
know that.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing is that, okay, my circumstances changed. Well, you know, maybe my plan is still good, maybe it doesn't, but they still like they're in a chaos and they're going, if I step one step out of this, because see what they also hear is there's some things about Medicare is that if once you get into a plan like a Medicare Advantage plan, can you go back to traditional Medicare? Well, not you can, but there could potentially consequences,
And I was
adverse
curious,
consequences.
and by the way, there's just traditional Medicare, and you can just go on that.
Yes.
But a great many people now, of course, get those Advantage plans. The reason is why? There are gaps. I mean, you don't have to. Can there be individuals that can get by just fine just on Medicare, or do you almost always recommend an Advantage plan?
No, I think it really depends on your situation. You know,
Give
it really
me
depends
just
on
real
what
quick
you're
before
doing.
we go to the break. What is an example of a type of individual, if you can tell me what their situation would be, where they would be just fine under straight Medicare?
If you're on original Medicare, it would be somebody who likes to see the doctors they want to see, somebody who likes to travel, and somebody who's comfortable paying for their supplement each month.
Okay.
If you're somebody
that's really the key, isn't it? Stop paying for the supplement.
That's
Right.
it.
Okay, now if you get an Advantage plan, then that supplement can be reduced, but you're paying in a different way, right?
You're not paying for a supplement anymore, but now you have a network of providers you can see.
Where-
you are limited as to who you can work with.
That's right. Place is the limit. So the trade-off is you're paying less, but you're going to a network. Whereas if you have doctors you want to go to yourself, then you pay.
That doctor's not your doctor.
That's really good.
That's
See,
right.
that's just
That's
basic
right.
stuff. And I know a lot of our viewers always know that, but now I have a better handle. I know there's other factors involved as well, but that's real clear as to why.
Right.
There's always a trade-off one way or the other.
Yes, sir.
And the more you're willing to pay yourself, perhaps the more flexibility you have. But there's a lot of good doctors out there.
Sure.
So.
Right.
All right, listen, let's take a break. Tim, we got calls for you.
awesome.
All right. So the phone line, 737-7587 is the number if you want to jump in. Of course, Tim Takacs, elder care attorney. Is he an attorney as well? You an attorney as well, Josh?
I'm not.
Okay, but he is a Medicare expert with his
Yes,
background. And so if you have questions about Medicare, if we need to handle something along the lines of Medicaid as well, we can hit on some of that just with talk about assisted living
all
and
that other
seniors
stuff,
and what my parents
exactly.
are going through,
That's
or
right, yes.
any other questions on certain types of things of
Right.
estate and all of that. We'll take your calls. If you're on there, stay there. If you want to join us, we've got some lines open. We'll be back with more right after this.